It is episode 110 of the Wheelhouse Cycling Podcast, brought to you by Bikebug. I'm Kate Bates. We've got Merckxy in the production room. Joel Spreadborough, he's on a beach in Thailand, I believe. Henk Vogel's, I think he's in a team car in China somewhere. So, look, we've done our best, and I think we've outdone ourselves. He's a club president. He's a former state president. He's a father of a up-and-coming legend of a cyclist. More importantly, he's not a fence sitter, so I'm looking forward to the opinions that come. Aaron Bear Liang, welcome to the bunker.
Thanks, Katie.
It's your first time in here.
It is, yes. Since it's been finished.
Since it's been finished. Yes, you did help us with that. Thank you very much. We've rolled out the red carpet for you. You've got a glass of water, comfortable, ready to go.
A little bit of EPO in the water, apparently. It helps my performance.
A performance enhancer.
I was on the board of Oz Cycling too. A lot of people forget that.
Yes.
But, yeah.
I mean, you have seen Australian cycling from every angle, from club president to state president to on the board of the National Federation.
Athlete,
father of athlete.
Yep, C grade at Muzz. Almost got to B grade.
And now event promoter, event owner with Blackline Track League.
Mm-hmm. Yes, international promoter now.
Yeah, international promoter. And I suppose, in a way, our business partner, because, you know, we've got a team in there.
You do have a team. And I noticed that your first recruit was a dual world champion.
Nicole Duncan.
Yeah.
We love you, Nicole Duncan.
And she was
I cannot wait.
She was in Ella's team, but after seeing episode
she jumped ship.
108, she was like, can I be in Katie's team? It was like, yeah, sure.
I love
you can.
that.
Yeah.
Merckxy.
Welcome to the bunker.
Thanks, Lukey.
I'm not sure who that is.
Where do I look when he's talking?
but
anywhere you like, mate.
Why Bear? Can you talk us through that, please,
for
our listeners?
Oh, dear. It's just a nickname. I used to be anti-Facebook, believe it or not. And when I got involved with Psyched Chicks team, the women's team, I started taking photos and sharing what they were doing. And Liz Young told me to get over myself and get on Facebook. So I started a Facebook page under my name, Aaron. And then friends said, what's with all this cycling rubbish?
Oh.
We're going to unfriend you. So I restarted it as Bear, which was my nickname. And, it's just stuck.
And there we have it.
That's it.
It's actually,
Exciting
Merckxy
story.
started a separate Instagram profile for a similar reason, because of all the cycling spam that was coming on.
My nickname at the time was actually Hippo.
Hippo?
Yeah, but I went with Bear.
I like Bear.
Yeah, Bear on a bike, you know.
Yeah. And bears are kind of cuddlier than hippos.
That's right. Hippo's giving the wrong vibe.
I think hippos are potentially more dangerous than a bear.
Very, very much so. Yeah, very much so.
All right, well, we are going to talk cycling. We've got a nice list of things to talk about this week because it's been a massive week. We made history at the Vuelta.
Yes.
3 Aussies on the podium.
Amazing.
Kate and Groves, where's he from?
He's from the sunny coast.
Yeah, come on. There's a lot of Queenslanders. We're going to be talking about a lot of Queenslanders today. We also had, of course, Jay Vine, who, by the way, is also a Queenslander.
Yes.
Even though he doesn't live here anymore. And, of course, Ben O'Connor taking second overall. All pretty remarkable stories. I want to start with Ben O'Connor, who spent 13 days in the red jersey, the longest an Australian has ever spent leading a Grand Tour. But what was really interesting at the end was that he was like overwhelmingly thrilled and shocked that he'd gotten second in a Grand Tour.
Yeah.
How good is it to watch the young talent come up and they believe in themselves, but then to actually achieve something and almost be shocked? It's quite refreshing, isn't it? There's no ego in that.
No. And it's lovely to see someone celebrating being on the podium because, we go to a lot of podium ceremonies, don't we? And I always find first is relieved because they were supposed to win. Second's upset because they came so close to winning. Yep. And normally third's having a great time. They're just happy to be there. But
they're happy they're not fourth.
yeah. And which is like coming last. So I'm told, never come forth. Always been on the podium myself, but they, I think it's wonderful, and it's lovely to have a celebration where everybody is happy. I don't think Ben O'Connor ever expected to win the whole thing. I don't think anyone ever expected him to beat him. So it sort of played out the way that it was expected to happen, do you think?
I think so. And I really like what you say about how good it is to see the other places celebrate. Because I even look back through my career, my last World Championships, I got a silver medal. And I remember...
Sorry about that.
And I remember the speech we got from the staff at the time, who I might add are no longer there, which is important to point out, otherwise they'd be a bit unhappy with me. And they gave this speech essentially saying anybody who medalled or won, like, don't enjoy it because otherwise you'll get beaten next year. You know, they said because the people who got 4th and 5th, they've gone home and they're working hard now to improve their position. If you just sit back and enjoy what you've achieved, you'll get beaten. And because...
That's uplifting, isn't it?
Isn't it? Because I was on the way out at the back end of my career and I knew I didn't have a lot of time left.
Yeah.
I didn't buy that. I thought that was hideous. But earlier on in my career, when we had similar speeches, I thought, don't want to get beaten next year. So it is kind of cool to see someone in the middle of their career really celebrating that. So that's awesome. Jay Vine, holy moly, 5 months ago, when he had the crash, broke his neck.
Yeah.
They were worried, genuinely worried, that he wouldn't even be able to hold his newborn son.
Mm.
And that was a giant fear that his pregnant wife, Bree, had and for Jay. And as he lay in the hospital bed, all they were grateful for was that he was alive.
Mm.
Fast forward.
Amazing.
And he's now the second time an Australian's ever won a KOM jersey at a Grand Tour. What an incredible journey.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? And he's obviously got an incredible personal fortitude. He doesn't look like it, especially with that awful moustache of his, which is...
Yeah, Jay, come on, what do you do? It's like a slug. It's not even Movember.
It's like a parody. It's terrible. Obviously, he's very proud of it, but looking past the moustache, amazing, really amazing.
Yeah, and I think we were talking just before we came on air about like why the Paralympics is so inspiring.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think there's an element where when you watch somebody overcome something just that ginormous, you can see your own life in it a little bit in terms of the challenges that you have thought are too hard.
Yeah.
And it really changes the perspective. I love Jay Vine personally. I love the Vine family. I just think they're tremendous and really great role models. Caden Groves, let's go to the Queenslander. He won the sprint jersey and a couple of stages along the way. He's very much set his intention to head to the Tour de France, albeit he's in a team with the world's best sprinter in Philipsen. Caden Groves is a bit of an interesting story, I find, and you'll see this too. He didn't really find his place in teams, but so talented. It's refreshing to see him find somewhere he fits and then just be able to focus on the performance.
Yep. Look, I haven't been around cycling as long as a lot of other people, but I was around when Caden was getting around in the QRTS and at Muzz and Nunda and whatever. And it's so inspiring to see that, a kid from Muzz can end up on the world tour and be competitive. And look, you know, Caden doesn't take any notice of me, but every time he came fourth and he missed out, I would text, "You'll win, and then you'll keep winning." And he's just one of those people that as soon as he learnt how to win, as soon as he realised he could win, he's just kept winning. And I mean, my understanding is that Jayco wanted to keep him, but they left it a little bit late. Alpecin popped in and gave him an offer. And wow, what a fantastic opportunity that's been. And I mean, he's a lovely guy too, you know. I mean, those three guys on the podium are all quality humans. So, I wish him the world and a tour of the big one. it's very doable.
Well, yeah, we were talking about it with Matt Wilson last week, and Matt Wilson was like, I don't know why you would take both Phillipson and Groves.
Yeah.
We thought we'd start a bit of a campaign for him.
Yeah, take 2 sprinters.
Yeah, so let's carry that on. We're putting together a PowerPoint presentation to really point out some of the things you've said we can add to that.
Yeah.
To sell him.
One thing Caden said on one of the stages that he won was that it wasn't a sprint stage. And something about Caden is that he can climb. And he said they kept the pace really high, so there was no breakaway. Because obviously, if there was a breakaway, he wouldn't have been there. So, he Nick Formosa always says Caden Groves can ride a bike. He can ride it up a hill. He can ride long. He's not just someone that you have to mollycoddle to the end to put him in a sprint position. So, yeah, I mean, obviously we're biased, but, give him a crack.
Yeah. I mean, I love how you talk about the belief that he gained, because that's been such a big part of his journey where he's believed he can win.
Yeah.
And now he believes that he should be taken to the Tour de France because he can also be an asset.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, that's pretty ballsy when you are in a team with the world's fastest sprinter.
Yeah.
So that's self-belief. That's fantastic. Let's talk about Primoz Roglic. He's one of my favies. I love him. We call him Sticky Tape Man in here because he does fall off enough that he pretty much always looks like he's being held together with sticky tape. Let me just read a little bit of his Palmares, right? Slovenian. Everybody thinks Slovenian cycling, they think of Pogačar, right? But this fella, he's won, and I reckon he's got the best Palmares of any pro cyclist. He's won the Dauphiné, Adriatico, Basque Country, Romandie, Paris-Nice, Catalonia, UAE Tour, Algarve, Burgos. He's won the Vuelta 4 times. He's won the Giro. He was the first Slovenian to win a Grand Tour at all. First Slovenian to win a Tour de France stage. And remembering that there's Pogačar, I reckon he got in a year early. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's won Liège, Bastogne, Liège, so also classic winner. Giro, 15 stages of the Vuelta. Like, the guy is an absolute animal. But all everybody's talking about is, can he win the Tour de France? Does it even matter? Like,
yes, it does.
Hold on, why though? With a CV like that, and forgetting what Pogačar's done, he has not done that.
No, he probably will.
Well, and then we can talk about it. But why is everyone still like, but can he win a Tour?
Ask him. What do you think he'd say? He'd say, I want to win the big one.
But why do you think he wants to? Like,
well, it's the pinnacle, isn't it? It's the pinnacle. It's the ultimate. Like, I guess if you're an Olympian, it'd be an Olympic gold medal. All the world championships in the world's wonderful, but at the end of the day, you crave the one thing you haven't got, don't you?
This is so true. I desperately would love to see him win it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he can.
I would desperately like to see a good Tour.
Yes.
I mean, it used to be Sky. Now it's Pog. Would be great to see a good Tour that has a bit of racing.
Well, I reckon give it another year. Like 2025, if we have Roglic, if we have Evenepoel a further year in, if we have Jonas without a big stack before, and then we have even the up-and-comers who are the next tier back but can really throw a cat amongst the pigeons.
He's running out of time, though, let's be honest. Roglic?
Well, maybe, though. I don't know. Oh, yeah, it's interesting you say that because I think the demographics are shifting a little. Where, there was a great article around sleep and how they're working really hard now on the athlete's sleep with all the science data and the mattresses that are temperature controlled, and which I really want one of those. By the way, they're 8 sleep. It's on my dream list. But they're looking at all of the different sleep scores. I mean, I wear an Oura ring for that reason as well. And with that, they're saying that one of the biggest things it can do is give longevity to careers because they recover better.
Well,
so maybe age isn't a problem.
The Oura ring came too late for me, I'm afraid. We should have known about that a little bit sooner.
Yeah, it certainly came too late for me in my career too. But
one thing, I don't know why Froome is not that popular. I really like Froome. And I remember an interview he was saying that when he became a pro, you became a pro, and then you train with a professional team, and in about 6 years you hit your mark.
Yep.
And then he said, you look at a guy like Pog, those guys are starting professional training when they're 13. By the time they're 19, they're in a team and they start winning. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure, isn't there, from the younger generation coming up. They're not coming into teams ready to start development. They're developed. So...
Well, but it's the question, the eternal question, the Tiger Woods path, you know, where he had a golf club in his hand when he was a toddler.
Yeah.
Or the Rafa Nadal path where he played every sport until his late teens when he started focusing on tennis.
Yeah.
Do you specialise early or do you just give them the skills to be good athletes and then they can specialise?
But, I mean, golf's not a sport though, so...
It's an Olympic sport.
Maybe if you...
But so is breakdancing, so... Sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned that. Let's move on from that.
If you're superhuman, it probably doesn't matter. It's probably the answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I do think there's different paths, but certainly, and we'll talk about this around ProVelo, there's different ways that are very, very supportive.
Yeah.
That are an easier path.
Yes.
And that's looking toward the younger riders. But if you look at Grace Brown came from athletics.
Yes.
Oz Cycling said, you're not really our type. The Amy Gillett Foundation gave her a scholarship.
Oh, shameless plug.
And sent her to Europe.
Right.
And that's how she got her break, because she was a little bit older. So there are a lot of athletes that can succeed. And, at the 2004 Olympics, Olivia Golan and Anoni Wood were two of the three road athletes.
Yeah.
And they both started in their mid-20s.
Yes. Look, I don't know much about high performance, but I know that they work within a framework, and I know they've got rules and regulations, and everybody doesn't fit inside that. I like Carly's approach, who I've been exposed to a little bit more recently. Carly McCulloch.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
G'day, Carl's.
Friend
got to
of
come
Queensland.
back into the bunker. She was great. She was very popular.
You two together was great. It was great.
We'll take it on the road.
You didn't get together in Paris at all?
I did see her very briefly in the velodrome, but we'd gotten the 4-minute countdown to on air, and I saw her, and I gave her a hug and ran back, but that was the extent of it.
Okay. Yeah, well, anyway, what I was going to say was boring and pointless, but...
Welcome to the bunker. That's
No, but just going back, I think what's more important is the development of the human, and it doesn't matter if it's cycling or athletics or whatever. And this is one of the things that we're talking about with the Paralympics. They've overcome stuff. They've developed all sorts of skills to win, to overcome, to be the best, to keep going, whatever it is. And so I see that in the juniors. I see things that develop them as successful humans, and that applies to the cycling, but it also applies to life, because cycling will come and go. I mean, from a performance point of view, but what we need to develop is good humans. Mm-hmm. And, and Grace Brown, by all accounts, is one of the best.
She is. I mean, that's why we have a no dickhead policy in our Blackline Track League team. For that exact reason. Now, it's interesting you speak about culture so quickly. The women's tour of Romandie has been run and won. Lotte Kopecky won that. She was second in the Queen's stage ahead of Demi Vollering, and Gaia Raelini rounded out the podium in the GC. Interesting that a sprinter can win a tour, albeit a 3-day tour, but with a Queen's stage up a climb. So I'm interested. Her form is obviously very good leading into Worlds. The men's tour of Britain, Steve Williams won. We saw him on excellent form at Tour Down Under. And essentially Tour of Britain's it's their Tour Down Under. It was really important for them. But Tom Pidcock, this is what I want to talk about, got a concussion. He's out for the rest of the season. But he said that his biggest problem isn't the concussion, actually. It's the team culture at Ineos. It's what's happening off the bike and out of performance. How does a team that big, with the biggest budget, they can do whatever they need, employ whoever they need, how do they end up with culture problems?
Well, money doesn't buy culture, does it? Good people creates good culture, and you can't buy that necessarily. I mean, you can buy the people, but and egos, I guess managing a lot of superstars is not easy.
So as the parent of an athlete, and Ella's a track rider, but imagine she's going to a team and you get an offer from, the Ineos equivalent, biggest budget, great, or a smaller team. How do you weigh up the opportunity of, the money and the funding and all that comes with that versus
Take the money.
The culture?
Just take the money.
Take the money. Buy your own culture, you reckon?
That's right.
Spend the rest on good sports psychs?
Well, firstly, I would say it would be Ella's decision. That's not true, but I just thought it might make me popular.
You're listening, Ella?
Yeah.
We'll clip that out for you, Ella, and you can use that when you need as ammo.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it? And it's hard to know. I mean, maybe Tom's the problem. You don't know, do you? But I think, look, you have to. There's also, it's not always going to be rosy, is it? Like any culture's got its any team's got its ups and downs. You got to not throw the baby out with the bathwater, and you just got to get through it. I mean, Ineos is a powerhouse. They'll sort it out, surely.
Resilience.
Yeah,
Right.
Stick to it. I mean, there's not a lot of that in modern life, is there? We see that with the younger generation. They keep a job for a couple of years and they move on, and that's okay. But resilience.
Well, there's a real balance between toughen up versus.
Well, you kind of, it's kind of culturally unacceptable to, take a cup of concrete, isn't it? You can't sort of say that anymore. But one thing I love about this sport of cycling is that it takes a certain type of human to do it. You have to be tough.
It's pretty miserable sport to do if you're not pretty inherently tough.
Yeah.
Like it is.
Yeah.
You'll just hate it. It's
Yeah.
regardless of anything. I think it does really kind of sort the wheat from the chaff in that regard.
Yeah.
For Ella, she just turned 17. Happy birthday, Ella. What did you get her, Bear?
Well,
she
got a lot of stuff. She got a lot of stuff. But we got we upgraded her wheels. And I had
to what? Come on, more descriptives. There's
well,
people wondering what they are.
We don't have a unlimited budget, but we got a lightweight front wheel and a Karima rear wheel because I couldn't afford two lightweight
A disc
wheels.
wheel.
Discs, yeah. She had fast forwards, but everyone tells me that they're the bottom of the. No offense, fast forward. They were great for first year, but she's trying to get.
They don't fast forward fast enough.
They're a great wheel for the price, I suppose, but she's got to try and get some qualification times this year. She's getting serious this year.
And you stickered them up, didn't you?
I put customised decals on it. I'm a bit of a cycling dad in that respect. I tried to make them subtle. She liked them, I think.
Well, they're black and then black decals.
Matte black on the,
Yeah.
Ella Liang.
Very pretty.
I think
birthday,
so.
Ella.
Do you think it's good, or do you think
I
it's
think it's a bloody
over the
ripper
top?
gift.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
I wasn't sure.
I went into Bikebug the other day because we'll pull this up on the rundown, Merckxy. I'll move this up. We're about to go to Lawn for the Amy's Grand Fondo. And
This weekend, is it?
this weekend. Merckxy has a beautiful bike disc brakes. I've recently upgraded to a beautiful Colnago with disc brakes.
Wow.
I have been resisting, and I realise how old school I am in holding on to a rim brake. Anyway, I've done it.
Like
It's
Froome,
beautiful.
like Chris Froome.
Exactly. Yeah, Froomey and I, that's pretty much all we have in common. And I realised I have no idea how to pack a bike with disc brakes. And I was terrified. So I took our bike bags into Bikebug
Yep.
with our bikes and said, could you help me? And when I got in there, I saw a fella by the name of James Needus. Now, Jimmy was my mechanic at Junior Worlds in 1999 in Athens. So we were chatting a bit about that. But he said to me, what are you doing in here? And I said, we're getting our bikes packed. And he said, what, because you've never packed a bike in your life?
Yeah.
And I said, no, fair, but actually I'm terrified of wrecking it or ruining it. So that's for anybody, the first time you pack your bike, either watch a good YouTube tutorial or take it to your local bike shop and have them help you, because you've got to protect it. Anyway, while I was in there, a fella came in with this beautiful bike and he'd like customized every little bit of it. So his cluster was gold. He'd had some gold decals put on. It was so beautiful, and unlike a bike you'll ever see off the shelf.
Was it Matthew Vanderpool?
It was a Matthew. But
you haven't seen my bike, Gold Member.
Your bike's called Gold Member?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, Merckxy.
It is. It is. It's completely gold. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, we need a photo of that, please.
No worries.
Hang on. A photo of what? His Gold Member?
His bicycle.
Yes, the bike, Luke.
I meant to say Remco, by the way.
Remco, not Matthew.
Hence all the gold. Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know why.
Well, no, but the point being, I think that those beautiful little customizations with decals, they're all the rage.
Right. Okay. Well,
Yes.
I was worried about it because Ella is a lot cooler than I am. You know,
I think simply demographic.
I think the word you're looking for is Sigma. She's Sigma.
Skibbity,
I don't know.
skibbity something.
Riz. She's got Riz.
Riz.
Yeah. She's totally alpha. No, I don't even know.
This show speaks to all generations.
It does. It does. Skibbity toilet. I think that's something, isn't it? I don't. Yeah. Anyway. So well done, Papa Bear. Now let's talk about Track Worlds, which are coming up in Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm.
I was there in 2001 for Track Worlds. Beautiful velodrome.
Right.
Sean Eady won the sprint. It was a great time for the Australians. We're sending 12 Aussies. 3 of them are from Balmoral.
Yeah.
Quarter of the team
Yep.
from Queensland, local. Yep. Liam Walsh is going.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about him for a second because Liam Walsh, Kel O'Brien and Blake Agnoletto are going as the men's endurance team. So no teams pursuit, post-Olympics. That's not strange.
Okay.
But
if you say so.
Well, I mean, in terms of the broader trend.
Yes.
So there was no real expectation for the gold medal winning teams pursuit to back up.
Correct.
My point.
Yeah.
But it shows me that they're really now looking at where some holes in the program are, which are bunch racing.
Wow. Wow. Who would have thought that?
I, as a bunch racer myself.
Let's send a team pursuit, and while they're there, they can do some of the bunch races.
Yeah, it was disappointing in Paris. I'm a bunch racer myself, and I was with Scott McGrory. He's a bunch racer, and it kind of broke our hearts to watch the program that has the athletes, but hasn't put the focus on bunch racing.
Yes.
So I'm not critical of the athletes because I think that they're capable. It's more the focus.
Yeah.
What part, you know Liam quite well, what part does Liam Walsh...
I like this.
Besties, BFFs.
Yeah.
What part does he play in bringing back bunch racing success for Australia at an international level?
Look, I hope and pray that this is a start of something because, you know, not criticising what they do, and I know that filling an Olympic team is not easy. You don't get, you know, as many places as you want type thing. We had Dennis and Jan from the Czech Republic staying with us for 5 weeks when they trained to qualify for the Olympics, and they went as a Madison pair, you know. Wow, how wonderful is that? A couple of guys who are going in the Omnium and the Madison, and we just don't have that. Liam Walsh is an amazing bunch racer, you know, and he is very exciting to watch. From a categorization point of view, you do an IP time, you get into the team. You can't get into the team if you can't do the time.
For anybody listening and not watching, I just fully curled my lip at the thought of an individual pursuit time being the qualifying standard for bunch racing.
Scratch race, elimination race, tempo, omnium. What, you know, it's and you know, there's some really talented local kids, juniors and elites, that just could never get into the program because they can't do that time. But you put them in a bunch race and they excel, and it's a different set of skills. Young Alex Hughes and Sam Washington, they were riding at Junior Worlds. Incredible, you know, like Alex Hughes in particular came away with the bronze. Now, he can do the time, but we have great bunch races in this country, and it would be wonderful to see 3 streams: your pursuit stream, your sprint stream, and your bunch racing stream, because they're not the same.
Well, and we did used to have that. But I suppose the difference was we had the points race as an Olympic event, standalone.
Yeah.
And that created in endurance, the only events for women were individual pursuit and points race. So it created that opportunity.
That comes back to our reliance on government funding. Obviously, we want to, we attract funding from the government based on what we can achieve at the Olympics. But our sport is so much bigger than high performance and the Olympics. So whilst ever there are bunch races available in the world, in the sport that we do, we should be developing those riders, and that requires finding a strategy that doesn't just rely on a government handout.
And doesn't just rely on top elite.
Yes.
Because there's such a pointy end.
Yeah. Yes.
Of the pyramid.
Yeah.
And they sit on everything below. And we have to really develop that. We're going to go into Blackline a little bit later. I'm going to get you to hold off on that because that's meaty.
Right.
At Track Worlds, we also have some more Queenslanders. Christina Clonan is there, not from Balmoral, but
she's from Sunny Coast, she's in a team.
Yes.
Wow.
It's
She's got
amazing.
some
So,
companions.
they're riding the team sprint. It's been a while. We've got McGill.
Yes, Molly.
Tell me a bit about Molly because she burst onto the scene this year. At Track Nationals, she was absolutely sensational.
Yes.
And it was almost a year too late, for Olympics. I was like, this is a bit of a bummer. But she's a really exciting young athlete.
Yeah.
How did she get to this point so quickly that she's heading to the World Championship? She's done a World Cup this year and she's on a very, very steep development path.
Yeah, well, she's a BMXer and she's come across from BMX into the QAS program. Now, of course, Carly's there with a cohort. I love this approach, this cohort approach. Get everybody in the room, get them all training together, and out of the 20 riders, you'll pick out 1 or 2. Alessia's up here now as well. And to see them training together, everybody's lifting. The culture's really strong. They're a happy bunch of girls. And the performance is lifting. I guess that's what Carly did over in Great Britain with those girls. And we're still seeing the results of that at the recent Olympics now.
Well, there's a young rider, you'd know she competes with Ella, Victoria Smith.
Yes.
Up in Rockhampton.
Yeah.
Without Carly supporting her and, bringing her into some of the broader training environments, because why not?
Yeah.
She'd be up there barely with a coach. She would go to the track on her own with her dad. That's it.
Yeah.
No program, no coach, no anything. A junior, these regional athletes are really missing out. But with an approach like Carly's, you bring every athlete along the journey into this training environment.
So, from my perspective, you don't know where the journey is going to end. And very few people are going to make it to the Olympics. Someone like Victoria Smith, the highlight of her cycling life may well be, and she's a talented kid. She could, I'm not suggesting that this is as far as she could go, but a highlight for her in her cycling life would be training with the Australian team in her local track in Rocky. And if that's all it ever came to, that's wonderful. And we should make those opportunities available. She's been invited now to some QAS training with the team in September, and hopefully she can get down. They're doing year 12 at the moment, so they've got competing interests. Education's very, very important. But yeah, it's good to see what's happening in that space. Really good to see.
It is. And likewise over in the men, obviously, Matty Richo, he's chuffed off.
Yes.
And Glates has retired.
Yes.
So you could think from the outside, oh dear, Oz Cycling's team sprint is struggling. But no.
No.
And I'm excited about this. We've got Tom Cornish, Lee Hoffman, fastest man in the world over the first lap,
Yep.
to the point where they had to change the configuration in Paris because
Yep.
nobody could get on.
Yeah.
And Ryan Elliott, come on in. We've got a trio that realistically could be on the podium at the World Championships in Copenhagen.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Ryan has worked very, very hard, and Ryan wasn't a kid that was a standout as a youngster. I think under 17s at one stage he was fourth in the sprints. He wasn't even on the podium. Louise Jones nurtured him as a junior, which was lucky for Ryan and lucky for Queenslanders. And obviously Dad, Julian, has gone from obscurity to being a fantastic elite level coach, and he's nurtured Ryan along the way. And I feel for Julian now that the boy's gone to Adelaide, and they're separated. But yeah, wow, what a talent. And nobody gets, I don't know the configuration of the team, but one thing about Ryan is that he is one of the fastest in the world out of the gate. Some of his data on how he can get his body out of that gate is phenomenal. So great things ahead for Ryan and the Australian team. Yeah, it's like it was pretty funny actually, because I was a bit upset when I first saw Richo's announcement, and I had wrote somewhere, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out."
Yeah, we may have had a giggle about that, Merckxy.
Yeah, and then I was speaking to his mum, Leslie, and she said, "I'll send a message to Matt. He's doing it tough." And I sent a message to Matt, just saying, "Mate, understand. It'll blow over. It's all good. It's your career. Everyone understands why you're doing it. Obviously, upset to see you go." And he just sent me one message back saying, "Don't let the door hit you." So yeah. I don't think I'm on Richo's Christmas card list.
I don't think I am either. But, I think everybody understands and says good luck, but the upset is still there. But it's certainly it's made a lot easier thanks to Ryan Elliott stepping in.
One door opens.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And it's also a great story for Ryan to have not been – the journey's very different when you win everything as a junior, and – inevitably there comes a hard part when you just stop winning everything so easily, but it is a very different path for those who have to
he was little.
Push the whole time.
He was little,
Like
he was
physically
he
little.
was a little kid. He's all sprinter now, he's all buff nowadays. And Julian was saying when he first went into the QAS, he couldn't lift because, I don't know, he was like 16 or something, and he hadn't been lifting. And so as soon as you get into the QS, you're into the deadlifts and the squats, and he had to very quickly beef up, which he has. And he's a brute of a young man now.
Yeah, the physical development is so different, especially with the guys.
Yeah.
At such different times, and that can really affect the development as well. Over in the endurance women, we've got Alex Manley, Georgia Baker and Kira Will from juniors, so that's fantastic to have her there. Good luck to them. I'll be watching, as I always will. And, of course, Road Worlds is on soon.
Yeah.
So, you know what Roglic has not done as the first Slovenian? Won the world title.
Yeah.
So maybe Tadej can do that. ProVelo, we had Matt Wilson on last week talking us through the ins and outs of that. We've had a lot of comments on that, so thanks to everybody who engaged around that. They've just announced their first event. So Sydney GP. They will start with a criterium in White Bay, which will be beautiful. It's right on the water there. They'll go to Akuna Bay and West Head, which are arguably, I think, and I am a bit biased on this, but I think arguably the most beautiful places in Australia to ride in terms of scenery, because it's on the beautiful water. You can, from West Head, you can look over to Summer Bay, catch them filming home and away if you've got an eager eye, and a criterium in Cronulla. It sounds like great racing. There's a time trial, 2 criteriums and a road race.
Yeah.
People are excited about it, but it's on the same weekend as the 52nd edition of the Bendigo Madison. I'm pretty bummed about that, to be honest. And I can, Merckxy, we've spoken about it. It's tough timing.
Yeah. Well, I'm sort of more involved in track these days. And it's sort of overlapped over track season. And just, even with Blackline, it's like almost impossible to find dates. And, one of the things that in trying to organise a calendar in Australia is, do it early. Well, you don't know what's on early. You don't get dates early enough. And there's probably way too much on. I think in the past there's been more of a road season than more of a track season. Now they're more overlapped. Yeah, but I can imagine Bendigo aren't very happy about that.
Well, I hope that there is enough depth in the road teams in ProVelo that the Madison riders can still focus on that.
How many teams are there in ProVelo?
That's a good question. They were not able to confirm last week. Matt said they're confident that they will have a good field.
Right.
That's good. Poor old Bendigo Madison, because they copped it through COVID.
Yeah.
And they've only just recently come back.
Yeah.
Wouldn't Cycling Australia get together and coordinate this?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I mean, I work with Oz Cycling from a high performance perspective on the committee there, also in the broadcast space, but I don't really get involved in these sorts of discussions.
Yeah.
But from your experience at Oz Cycling with Cycling Queensland, is there the right amount of consideration put into overlapping of events and the schedule?
Well, Oz Cycling don't control it. That's the thing. Oz Cycling don't control ProVelo. ProVelo is private. And so they try to work in together. But at the end of the day, ProVelo don't need Oz Cycling's approval to put on whatever date they want to. So the person who, Kip Kaufman and Louise Jones organise pretty much everything in Australia. And I know, Louise is on the phone on Teams meetings every night, 7 days a week until late at night, and including international events, trying to nut out a calendar is very, very hard. And one of the problems beyond this is that now we have CX mountain bike, gravel, BMX, and then you've got all different types of BMX. You've got like freestyle, and you've got downhill mountain biking. Park
BMX.
Park, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that's what Logan Martin does. Logan from Logan.
Yeah, right. I thought he did freestyle. So I'm not up with the lingo, but so it's hard, and they're all fighting over the same people. Like we don't have thousands and thousands of people to draw from. So one of the difficulties is we're all fighting over a few bumps on seats. The Bendigo, I don't sort of, know who's going to that. If there's an international field, don't really know. But
look, there has been in the past, and I think we are imminently getting an announcement about the Sun Tour coming back.
Yes, wonderful.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
That will not be on the ProVelo calendar.
Right.
And so I think there will be a rebalancing of where the athletes belong and race and go through the summer. But I hope the Bendigo Madison gets a great field.
Yeah.
It's a great event.
Yeah.
And again, my love for bunch racing. I think it's really important. I would like to see Liam Walsh go there, not to West Head to race, simply for that.
Well, he'll be sitting in the bus most of the weekend, won't he?
He will be. There is, for anybody who knows Sydney, Akuna Bay is hosting the time trial on the Saturday morning. That is the very northern tip of Sydney. Then they go to Cronulla for a criterium in the afternoon. That is the very southern tip of Sydney. And then they go back to West Head and Akuna Bay the next morning. So there will be a little bit of scenic travelling through Sydney for that one.
Matt Wilson knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry knows what he's doing.
Yep.
The Godfather. To me, it feels like there's a head, no body. Whereas we kind of lost everything under all the development riding is dying, and COVID killed a lot of it off. It's struggling to get its feet after COVID. Was it amazing before COVID? No, it wasn't, but it was better. ProVelo is a great idea. It's an awesome initiative, but we don't have the feeders. So maybe they're out there somewhere. Maybe they're coming from Asia and Europe or something. I don't know where they're all coming from, but I would love for it to be a success. I can't see how they can field the teams at the cost at this stage, but what do I know? I don't.
Well, I also hope it's a massive success because we need it.
Yes.
And we need development on the road and the track. Let's talk about track. Smoothest segue you'll get out of me there
That was very good.
today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very well
Thank you,
done.
Merckxy. Blackline.
Yes.
Very exciting venture that you
the
are taking
most
on.
exciting thing to ever happen in cycling in the Pacific.
How's that for a pitch? Nailed it.
Yeah.
Why? Where did this come from? How did it happen? Give us an overview.
It was completely my idea. It had nothing to do with Glen Lake from Blackburn.
Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Glenn.
We respect you a lot and we value you.
Yeah.
It was Bear's idea.
It was entirely my idea. Glenn called me and he said, I've got an idea. Obviously, he's in the space, but his daughter's Alana, 17, going on first year 19, into the abyss of under 19s. Not just an abyss because we don't have anything for the riders to do. It's also an abyss because of the age. Year 12, year 11 and 12, boyfriends and girlfriends, getting your Ps, getting your independence, all this sort of stuff. And once you get independence, you don't have to do what mum and dad drag you to anymore. You can go to the pub instead, or go to the beach, or do something fun instead of going to the track on Saturday, Sunday like Ella does. So obviously we all know there's a big space there. So Glenn said, you want to do something about it. Now I thought, and I would say definitely I was wrong, that introducing under 19s to AJTS was a good idea. It was a dumb idea. Not only is there not enough time, guess what? Under 19s don't want to play with the under 15s, under 17s. They want to play with the big kids. And I learnt that when Ella became a first year under 19 and she started riding elite, so that's where she wanted to be. Particularly down at the Tassie Carnivals, like she was seeded third last year, which was crazy. And there were kids from Malaysia and Singapore and Hong Kong and Europe. And that's where they want to be, right? So we said, okay, let's put something in the calendar. So we're starting off with 3 rounds this year. We've got, I think, 135 kids now.
That's amazing.
In under 19s, under 23s. Very close to a 50-50 split of boys and girls. It's going to be exciting. I'm really happy the way everyone's got behind it. We were a bit worried about the institutes, whether they'd let the kids come. But, we've got – one of the first people to sign up was Tate Ryan. And I said to Tate a couple of weeks ago, I said, Tate, are you got a media manager now? Can you do something for Blackline for us? He said, I've got to ask my coach if I can do it. I was like, oh, you're joking. His coach said yes. The coaches have been supporting it. SASI have been supporting it. New South Wales Institute of Sport, Vic Institute, QAS, they're all supporting it. So,
I mean, let's not beat around the bush here.
Yeah.
We've got an Olympic Games in this great city in less than 8 years' time.
Yeah. Those kids are under 19, under 23 now. So the whole idea, you're 100% right. The whole idea is to throw a net around that cohort and follow them all the way to the Olympics. And the big plan is that there will be from kids that are going to uni and just want to ride for the fun of it, all the way through to the Tate Ryans and Nicole Duncans and the like. Ultimately, we'd love to have a Blackline trade team, get funds pouring into it, and then be able to give opportunity. Like you mentioned, Amy Gillett gave Grace her opportunity. We want to be able to buy kids wheels. We want to be able to give them frames. We want to be able to take them to, racing. We took a group to Malaysia last year as a bit of a test, and it was so much fun. It was, it was really great. Sprinters don't have anything to do. Enduros have a little bit more because they go, to Belgium.
Onto the road, yeah.
But the sprinters literally just train, so they need an outlet. So, and as we've started doing this, John Beasley from Malaysia, just absolutely love him to death. He'll do anything to help. They're coming over for Blackline. They've invited us over there. I believe I was cycling and talking about an under-9s Japan trip, which we were talking about doing Malaysia and then Japan. And so, so we're setting up an entity to start to rattle the cage and try to fund and move, organically grow and be able to do some real stuff for kids.
And you're going to be able to watch it, Bear, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
And
Merckxy, I think
see
you
all
and
these
Bear
cameras?
are due a conversation,
Very
aren't you?
important in
Yeah.
this day and age.
Yes. See all these cameras around here? Yes. Yeah, you don't know how involved you're going to be in that, Luke. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we started off the live streaming the Golden Bin Chicken a few years back.
The Golden Bin Chicken?
The Golden Bin Chicken.
What's the Golden Bin Chicken? What have I missed?
The Golden Bin Chicken is a Facebook site where all media for things that happen in southeast Queensland goes.
Is that right?
Yeah. So we used to have
So it's like a streaming.
No, it's just a
essentially.
Facebook site and things that happen
Right.
in Queensland. So if someone's taking photos or videos or whatever of something happening in southeast Queensland, we encourage people to put it on the Golden Bin Chicken Facebook site so that people can find it.
Unreal. So cycling.
Cycling.
Just
But then out of the Golden
That's
Bin
cool.
Chicken, we started live streaming essentially with Balmoral parents, almost entirely Balmoral parents, but parents and people that were happy to help. And it's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Bloody unreal. I'll say that. I mean, Merckxy and I have long admired what you've been able to do with a cohort of parents.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm dobbing you in here, Merckxy, but I'm fairly sure Merckxy's into.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. He's
to make sure we can
like the
see
sponsorship.
This. Yeah, exactly.
How much is that going to cost?
Yeah. Well, look.
Don't worry about the sponsorship. That'll be cheap compared to the broadcasting, Merckxy, in comparison.
It is. I love the idea that when you might get, say, 2-3 Olympians in Brisbane, but what they'll have is a community that's been on the journey with them the whole time, that isn't just the 130 other riders in the league, it's the parents, the coaches, the family, and that is what they will gain, that support as well.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
I love it.
Be fun.
Whoever said track's dead? Track's not dead.
Track's not dead.
Track is hibernating.
Track is, well, excuse me, Bear. Track is about to come out of hibernation.
Yes, and look, the Olympics was fun, right?
So fun.
And I noticed the flying burrito landed yesterday. I don't know. I mean, I've known Corey for a little while. I've never seen him eat a burrito or heard of him eating burritos, but this is a new thing.
But he's a gold medal. Well, he's an Paralympic gold medalist now, Corey Boddington. So,
Katie, you dobbed me in. Bear, have you got commentators? Have you contacted the management for Scott McGrory and Kate Bates?
Kate Bates is definitely commentating, and it's Kate Bates' job to get Scott McGrory
yes.
on
They're like a pair, like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes. Scott, if you could put some highlighters around the dates in your calendar, tell us the dates, Bear.
So date number 1 is Sydney, 12th and 13th of October. Then Brisbane is the last day of November and the first day of December. And then we head down to Melbourne for round 3, which is the 18th of December. And the Austria will be on, and a couple of National Madison, National Omnium, and some Category 1 and 2 sprint rounds and AJTS. That's going to be Melbourne.
It's going to be unreal.
It's going to be fun. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'll have mixed duties then between team management.
You'll be down there. You'll be down there.
Yeah, we'll get it on. Okay, that is very exciting. I'm very excited for that. Before we go, we've got a few more things to talk about because last week I got up at the ungodly hour of 2 a.m. on Saturday morning to help the Australians riding the Esports World Championships semi-finals over on My Whoosh. The weigh-in window opened at 1:30 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. for the Aussies, with the women's racing starting at 3 a.m., the men at 4 a.m. Please, UCI, what the F? Could you please give us a slightly better time zone? Like, come on, respect.
Yeah.
Anyway, the top 20 went through to the World Championship finals. They will be on a jet plane over to the UAE to compete. We do have an Aussie in the finals for the men. That's Josh Harris.
Yep.
Now, he has been made famous. Now, you commentated on him, Bear.
Yes, at the Nationals.
At the Nationals,
yes.
the Esport Nationals. That was
Yep.
your esports debut, wasn't it?
Yep, it was.
Yes,
Yep.
And Josh Harris did an exceptional job. So he will be at the final, and we're hoping for some wild cards as well, because there's 3 Tasmanians in the men's: Josh Harris, Josh Wilson, and Mark Gates. Mark Gates had a technical dropout. It was not his fault.
No.
So we're hoping to get him a wild card, and the same over in the women. We think we can get a few there. The reason I bring up esports is because all of these fail-safes, that there's no cheating. They had to submit weight videos where they show head, body down to the scales to make sure it's legit.
Yeah.
But over on Strava, Bear, people are paying Strava mules to go and get them kudos. 50 cents a kilometre apparently. They're saying, go ride, average about 26K an hour so nobody thinks it's not me. Go do 120K. And then they just sit back and watch the lovely comments come in.
That is
That's insane.
It's a brave new world we live in. I don't even know what to say. I mean, if I was to ride Strava, which I have done in the past, it would be for fitness. You don't get much benefit getting paying someone.
Paying someone.
I mean, if you could pay someone to do the Ks and you lost the kilos, yeah, for sure. But that's just, I mean, it happens in gaming. You can pay people in gaming.
What, to like catapult you up a level?
Yeah, you can get them to go up levels or to upskill your character.
Ooh.
Yeah, because, you know, the further you get in the game, the bigger the weapons or whatever, the more skills and attributes you have. So you can, I know someone who does that as a sideline. They pay him very well too.
So it's a job essentially.
It's a job, yeah. He gets paid to upskill people in games. So they give you their login details. You log in as them, and then you just start killing.
Well, Strava released a statement, said it's a breach of their terms and conditions.
Yes, of course.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
So just don't brag if you have a mule, I guess, is the whole point.
I think that's a brag in itself. It's like an au pair, isn't it? You know, people with au pairs are always talking about
their au
pair. They've got to mention it every time. A Strava mule. I just have to check on my Strava.
But then there's some
Just get my mule.
questionable KOMs. Was it on an e-bike?
Look, I've got KOMs in the car.
In the car.
I got KOMs in the car, and I'm not. You know, it's still a KOM.
Well, I
still mine.
Bought the other day from Bikebug a Wahoo computer.
Right.
It's the first time I've had a bike computer since I retired.
Wow.
Because
and they're $1,000 too, yeah?
Well, it's a beautiful piece of machinery.
Yes.
It pretty much should cook me dinner, I think.
Yeah.
For the
price.
For the price.
Yeah.
But I turned it on, you know, when I got back to the car just to take a look, new toy, all that.
Yeah.
And then I did notice a beep as I was driving.
It's activated,
because it was activated, and when I was driving down the highway, it was very impressed with my high speed.
Sean Trainer a few years ago, got the KOM up Cootha back. And I happened to be very close to Cootha when it happened because he posted or whatever. I thought it would be funny. I had the bike in the back of the car. I'm going to drive up Cootha back and take his KOM like in 5 minutes after him getting it.
I think you can go to prison for that.
That is evil.
Well, I'll tell you something about Sean Trainer. I was in the Land Cruiser. It wasn't exactly the most, performance car, but it's better than a bike.
Sure.
I didn't beat the KOM in the car because of the traffic.
Oh.
Wow.
Gee, that's probably almost thank goodness, because that would have been pretty gut-wrenching.
I've got KOMs in the car, and it hurts just as much losing them as it does, I imagine, if you earned it on a bike.
Well, there's all sorts of shenanigans, people being motor paced onto sections. Yep. I mean, Cootha would have to be...
E-bikes.
E-bikes, yes. Cootha would have to be the hardest section in Brisbane.
Yeah.
The most competitive. Like Jay Vine held it for a while, but he's been well and truly dethroned.
Yeah. In the Land Cruiser, in the 200 series.
I think it was front side that he had the record. I'll have to check that.
Yeah, that doesn't really count.
It doesn't?
No.
What?
No. Cootha is Cootha back, and you've got to go all the way to the top. They used to have the Cootha burn, and it stopped before the hardest bit at the very top, which is just past Channel 10 or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
You've got to do that last bit.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. The rules are the rules. Lockie Morton, I want to have a little update on him. He is riding around Australia.
Yeah.
Bless him. I was going to say he's insane, but actually he appears to be having a wonderful time. He's got a crew of 8.
Yeah.
He's 3,107 kilometres in on day 7 as we record. Lazy 11,000 to go.
He's putting in big days.
He is. Well, yesterday, day 7, that was an easy day. It was only 300K.
Yeah.
Alex from our mate Alex at Bikebug. Look at this. He's riding with him.
Oh, sensational. Alex Shadbolt. What a legend. Well, we did think, Merckxy said maybe he can drop in on his way through Brisbane.
Yeah.
He's not stopping for long enough to drop in. He's stopping He's stopped roadside up at Noosa, and this crew with him is amazing.
Yeah.
He had a table, all the food ready for him, so he just pulled over on the road, had a meal, and got back out there. It's pretty impressive. It is. It is. And I don't think he packed a razor because
he looks
already
a bit rough.
the beard is starting to look a bit Forrest Gumpy.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how he goes. It's pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
All right. We have the Amy Gillett ride this weekend that Merckxy and I are going down to.
As the CEO.
Yes. And thank you to Bikebug for packing my bikes. I have to go and pick those up. That's exciting.
So you still don't pack your own bike after all this
Well,
time?
no. Look,
Rockstar.
I know. After this,
my bike
I
for me.
might pack it now that I've seen how it's done with disc brakes, but I'm scared of bending the rotors, so
Okay.
I don't want to do that. We've got Brisbane to Gold Coast coming up too. Merckxy and I are doing the 100K with Joel and with Hank. Any chance you might
try and hold on to Hank's
What do you
wheel?
think? Do you want to join Team Wheelhouse?
Bring Gold member out.
Yeah.
How long have I
That's
got?
out of context. That's a bit disturbing. Yeah.
How long have I got?
Actually, you know what? It's not going to work. It's the 13th of October.
I can't believe they put it on the same day.
But it's in the morning.
You could fly down in the afternoon.
So you could, that's Sydney too, isn't it? Oh, yeah,
I won't
bummer.
be there. Otherwise,
Next
100% would have been there.
Otherwise, we'll get you out on the bike.
Yes.
You are going to get
Into the
Gold
team.
member out in Sydney?
Gold member's a road bike, Maxie.
Yeah, but you can still go for a ride when you're down there.
Yeah, okay. No, I'll be busy.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. How are you feeling after your first foray into the bunker?
Look, I think if I knew more about cycling, it'd be better. But
I think you've done pretty well.
I've loved it.
Yeah.
And a bit like
How do you think you went, Bear?
like everything in life, average.
Yeah.
I do everything average. Nothing great, nothing particularly poor.
Stop it.
But what are America's Got Talent? And people get on America's Got Talent and they say, have you got people with you? And you say, I didn't tell anybody I was coming just in case I sucked.
Oh, is that this case?
Yes.
All right.
Felicity doesn't know. Ella doesn't know.
Oh.
It'll be a little surprise for them.
Yes. Well, happy
And she'll
birthday
say,
again, Ella.
You should have been at work.
This is, look, working hard in here.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
The studio's amazing. And
Thank
let
you.
me
it
just
is.
say, you did a great, fantastic job in Paris.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I was over there, chatting all things cycling, and Merckxy was back here running the beautiful studio.
Yeah.
River City Studios is where we record for anybody who wants to come and experience the bunker.
Yeah, and I did try and get Eddie Maguire to replace Joel and Hank, but
No
not
love.
Bear.
Yeah, we got Bear.
I get a lot of jobs because I'm the last person available.
No, we love
and
it.
that's okay.
Nonsense.
Thank you, Bear.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having
Merckxy,
me.
can he come back?
Yeah, I love him. We should
I'll
have
have
a
him back.
segment. A little
We should.
Bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Gold member.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like, subscribe, tell your friends, listen, all of that jazz, and we'll see you next week for 111.
Wow.
Trucking along.